Kosti Shirvanian was born in Isfahan on June 3, 1930. His parents were missionaries. They were part of the survivors of the Armenian genocide that killed many Armenians. They migrated from Armenia to Iran, and he was the last of 4 children. His sister raised him. He went to a missionary school until he was 19, and then Iran went through a revolution. His parents decided that it's best for him to leave the country, because if he didn't leave, he was going to get involved with the war between Iran and Iraq, so they snuck him out of the country. He went from Isfahan to Cyprus, Cyprus to Paris, Paris to London, and finally London to New York.
I got to New York and Statue of Liberty, and then my sisters were here. They met me in the airport, and so I came to America. And then I went to school that was owned by Seventh-day Adventists. It's called Atlantic Union College, South Lancaster, Massachusetts. So my roommates said, he was 18. He said, "How old are you?" I said, 19. And he said, "Have you registered?" In America, when you're 18, you automatically have to register with the government. So you can be drafted if they want to draft him. And I said, "No, I haven't registered." So he says, "Okay, let's go." So me, stupid enough, I decided to go register. So we went to the Fort Devens, Mass, and there was a cute little girl, Hispanic girl. She asked me where I was born. And I said, I was born in Iran, Tehran, or Isfahan. No, I didn't say Isfahan, I said Iran, Tehran. And she was born in Iran, Texas, so she wrote down Iran, Tehran. I mean, Iran, Texas, accidentally. And I went back, and within a month, I was drafted by mistake.
He joined the 45th Division and in the National Guard. He was put in the National Guard during the Korean War. He got his training in Oklahoma for about 6 months. The Korean War started on June 25, 1950 and ended on July 27, 1953. Mr. Shirvanian was drafted when he was 19. The Soviets wanted to expand communist influence into Korea. The United States encouraged Korean democracy in response to this. This disagreement led to the Korean War. The Korean War was fought between North and South Korea. A United Nations force led by the U.S. fought for the South, and the North fought with China, aided by the USSR. Mr. Shirvanian went from his training in Oklahoma to Japan and finally to his deployment in Korea. There were 21,000 medics in the summer of 1950 when Mr. Shirvanian was drafted. Few of the new doctor draftees had any experience in combat medicine. Mr. Shirvanian had no experience. He became a frontline medic in the Korean War. Despite the inexperience and shortages of medical equipment and supplies during the early months of the war, Mr. Shirvanian quickly learned the skills he needed to save lives and return soldiers to their units.
Because American soldiers were not completely adapted to Korea's climate, the medics ended up treating many soldiers for frostbite. In fact, many soldiers died of frostbite during the Korean War before even reaching the battlefields.
It is evident that many soldiers fell ill due to the harsh climates in Korea. In one battle, a soldier reported that it was down to negative 54 degrees Fahrenheit.
I decided I was a medic, so they put me in the medics. And my captain saw my record. He was a Lebanese captain. He called me and he says, "Private Shenanigan, what the hell are you doing over here?" I said, "I don't know. I'm drafted." And they said, "Well, they made a big mistake, and we might have to send you back." I said, "No, I don't want to go back." So they had to re-register. So instead of 2 years, I had to serve 3 years to re-register. But then if I did, I become an American citizen. So they said, "Okay." But they said, "Don't worry, not going to send you to Korea." And next thing I know, within a month, they said, "Okay, Korea." I went to Japan, from Japan to Korea. On the front line, they put me in the medics and have no idea anything about medicine, zero. Here I was in medics in a company, and they call me, all the guys, they call me Duck.
Medics usually wore crosses when treating soldiers. However, Mr. Shirvanian chose not to wear the cross because it showed him as a target for guerrilla soldiers to shoot. Here we see a typical medic's uniform. Now we will hear a story from Mr. Shirvanian about when he helped a Korean soldier who was wounded.
Then salute, it says, "The patient wants to talk to you." He says, he's leaving, he was excited. So I said, "Okay, what can I do?" So the guy's trying to kiss my hand and, talking Korean. And I said I was so happy that he was alive. And the doctor said, son, how long you been here? I said, about a week. And he says, well, let me tell you what training you got. You see this little hole that you got here? In the back, there's a big one. You forgot to close the big one. So I closed the small one, left the big one. He says, next time you see a little hole here, look, turn him around. There's a big one in the back. I said, yes, sir. So he says, great. I heard you did a good job. Congratulations. And go back and take care of the troops. So I said, okay. I saluted, got back in the ship, went to the front line.
We asked what was Mr. Shirvanian's most stressful situation serving as a guard. This is his response.
The thing that I didn't like was cold. It was freezing cold. And one thing I don't like is cold weather. And I hated coffee. I took coffee every morning just to get warm, because we were sleeping there. When they put me in a guard in Northern Korea, and it was freezing at night, and the Koreans don't bury their dead. They're sitting in down, it's like a big balloon. And I hate cemeteries as a young kid. So anyhow, and next I told the captain, do anything you want, don't ever put me in a guard. I was so scared to death, And then after that I came back, then I become kind of respected after a couple episodes, So, and then the worst one I had, one guy was shot. One of our people one got shot, one of the people. And they called me and I went in there and the guy was dead. So I called the captain. And the captain said, who did it? I said, that guy. And I got scared. I thought he was going to shoot me too. And the guy says, yes, sir, I did it. And that was kind of tricky. And the guy happened to be Armenian. And his name was Hagop. My brother's name is Hagop. He was there. They said him. And then they gave me his wallet, his picture, because that was almost the end of my training. I had to go back. I had a week left. So they said, we're not going to let you stay on the front line anymore. So they shipped me out. And I got on a boat. That's when that war finished, Korean War.
Considering that in the Korean War there were 2.5 million casualties, the medics had a key job in the war effort. The fatality rate for wounded soldiers was 2.5%. This low number is attributed to the mobile army surgical hospitals. Improved medical treatments and major medical installations assisted soldiers. President Harry Truman viewed North Korea's strike as the first step in an international communist takeover led by the Soviets. Because the U.S. wanted to declare war against communism, the U.S. moved to establish peace and remove communist invaders from South Korea. There were 2.5 million casualties. The fighting ended in July 1953, with Korea divided into two hostile states. The front line has been accepted as the de facto boundary between the North and South.
Even though we call this war the Forgotten War, we will never forget about the 40,000 people who died serving our country and the 100,000 who were wounded.
In the next clip, we post the question, what is the most important thing you took away from the military to Mr. Shirvanian?
From military?
Yeah.
Well, I learned in military that you accept people the way they are. And I think that's the problem we have today in our country, that we're fighting each other instead of accepting each other. So once you know where they are, you respect them and they respect you. I don't care if you're Muslim or Christian or Hindu or Mormon, or you're Armenian or Persian or Russian. But once you respect them, they'll respect you. And instead of fighting them, I think that's the problem we have today. So I believe in culture. We are a product of our environment. And respect others the way they are. Don't make fun out of them. And then try to be very understanding and respectful. And you'll find out that they'll open a lot of doors for you.